What's up, Penn State fans? Joe Smeltzer of Nittany Sports Now here with Nittany Sports Daily. And Penn State's offensive line coach Phil Trautwein is really good at his job, and I think J.B. Nelson leaving the program, presumably to enter the transfer portal. It's not official yet, but the common thought is that that's where he's going. As unfortunate as it is for J.B. Nelson to not be able to finish his career at Penn State, to not be on this year's team, which could well qualify and maybe even win a national championship, it really does show how far this offensive line has come, because J.B. Nelson's a good player. This is a guy that started 8 games 2 years ago, played pretty well at left guard in place of Landon Tengwall, who was supposed to be the starter and then ended up having to medically retire from football. But a guy like this would have been an every week starter if Penn State's offensive line were still in the state that it was in before Phil Trautwein really retooled it. Now, Penn State is so deep at the offensive line that talented players are leaving because, presumably, and this is with respect to J.B. Nelson, whatever the situation is, but it seems like there's a good chance that a lot of this was due to playing time. You got 4 starters coming back, and the one starter that Penn State has to replace is Sal Wormley. Well, Cooper Cousins seems to be the most likely bet for that, starting at right guard, and he's a guy that could be Penn State's next great one at offensive line. So offensive line is one of Penn State's biggest strengths, and it's easy to forget that just a few years ago, it wasn't that way. Remember Blue-White game 2022, people weren't sure how Penn State would play the game because they just didn't have any bodies up front. But in just 3 years, Phil Trautwein has turned this into one of, if not the best unit in the country. And I think it's going to play a big part once again in Penn State's success in 2025, as it did in 2024 and 2023. This has been Nittany Sports Daily.